Is Kingdom Hearts truly light? Light and darkness, good and evil, the polarizing elements and virtues that plague the tales of epic battles since the beginning of time have always been seen as black and white, but what remains in the gray between constantly in flux. The fabled and expansive story of Kingdom Hearts establishes these natures of light and darkness down the middle in the beginning, with Sora being a champion of light, acting as a shining beacon that pierces through the darkness to give way to life and salvation to all of existence that is threatened by those tainted by the void. However, as time goes on with the series, it becomes very apparent that the divide between light and darkness, and where one may think they will fall in the grand scheme of good and evil, isn't as clear as you would think. That there are those that are good and serve the light with darkness, and those that are viewed as evil, utilizing darkness for the sake of light. And with the advent of the Lost Master arc, as well as Xehanort's origin within that of Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, the hypocrisy of light and the subjugation of darkness may be the biggest aspect to be explored within Kingdom Hearts 4 and beyond. While the biggest focus of the Kingdom Hearts series deals with the nature of the heart, it is the forces that dwell within that concept that hold together the answers and mysteries of everything we know about the series, light and darkness. The portrayal of these forces and where they supposedly align have been made apparent throughout the series, in its history, in its characters, and the nature of the abilities tied to each polarity. And for the longest, even until now, it is near unanimous both inside and outside the games that light is the force of good and that it must be protected at all costs, and that darkness is evil and must be condemned to the shadows by any and all means. However, it is much more nuanced than that when one looks deeper into the series and the truth behind certain machinations. Light has been known to be a gift to existence from an unseen land known as Kingdom Hearts, the first light that, as we know it, holds the essence to shape life and give form to stable reality. While the world began in darkness, it was light where all hearts and people originate from. Light was so precious that people fought over its ownership, leading to the Keyblade War, which brought about the destruction of the world when it was consumed by darkness. But it was the light within children's hearts that remade the worlds as we know them today. Darkness is often misinterpreted as the absence of light, but is actually a nature that predates light itself, perhaps the true nature of all that was and all that will be. While seemingly destructive by nature, darkness has been revealed to be more driven by instinct in its element, and it's drawn to and acts on the more passionate and volatile emotions. And while these acts can be seen as destruction, it would be fitting to see them as consumption. As with the first folly presented in this theory is that the concept of destruction and creation with both of these forces in mind. Yes, both light and darkness have the capacity to destroy and to create, but the way they each go around doing so is quite different. Light, in its destructive force, purges everything in order to render its target a blank slate, optimal for creating something anew within the emptiness. It is in this pure state that light is able to create life fit for dwelling in that light. Darkness, in its destructive force, consumes everything in order to bring all that is under the whole, and that within this now all-encompassing void utilizes pieces, memories, and emotions to create derivative works based on what was consumed in various new ways, some closer to the original and some more twisted. Notice something odd in these descriptions? Could it be the very nature of light and darkness are not only polarizing in force, but also in understanding? The light seeks to position itself to judge who and what is worthy to be within its warmth, while darkness does not discriminate in bringing all that is under its shadow. That the light casts away, pushing all that is in its destructive force to make clean, while the darkness brings together everything in its consumption in the void. This is further exemplified within the characters and cognitive beings of Kingdom Hearts that are tied or utilize each element. Keyblade wielders of yore are intrinsically taught or brought up on the notion that light is the aspect that must be defended. It is the natural foundation of the worlds, but also that the darkness must be eliminated, and those that dwell within it must be shunned. While it would seem that for the most part that could be true, since times past and what we know now in Kingdom Hearts, we've actually seen those that utilize the darkness while aiming to serve the light in various extremities, such as Riku, Terra, and even Xehanort. And while it could be argued that up until the case of Baldur in Dark Road, we have yet to encounter an original being of darkness to truly personify evil as a whole, rather capable of acts that could be described as evil to a degree, and this deals with examples such as Vanitas and even Baldur. Vanitas, in his twisted views and ways, have only shown that he serves Xehanort towards his machinations of bringing about another Keyblade War. And when further explored, it is heavily implied that Vanitas is a true darkness, one of the primordial 13, but not one of the deadly 7, and that he was given this form by Ventus, one who he considers his brother, and that in the extent of the true darkness's goal, Vanitas, like the other true darknesses before him, do not outright seek the destruction of all that is, nor do they seek to rule or subjugate others. Their endgame is rather much more simple than that. By all accounts, reductive or otherwise, they seek to survive. True darkness and the darkness derived from them solely seek to exist as themselves after giving up their physical forms due to being hunted by and clashing with the light. To that end, true darkness aims to expand, consume, and bring everything under the shroud of shadows in order to have a place to belong without fear of being eliminated by the light, which in turn explains why derivative darknesses, such as the Heartless, hunt down Keyblade wielders. They seek to destroy what they fear most, weapons capable of dispatching them. This folly can even be applied to someone who became so wicked due to the darkness, someone like Baldur, who went on quite the murder spree. This was all done in order to call upon Kingdom Hearts in a way so that the world would be reborn in darkness rather than light, even going on to implore Xehanort to seek out the truth to Light's hypocrisy before being executed for his crimes. That notion stuck with Xehanort, who was already putting together one of the greatest fallacies of Light in his head, that despite being Keyblade wielders, tasked with protecting the worlds and the light, you mustn't interfere with the affairs of the worlds, even if their plight is horrifying, such as those within power being a beacon of darkness, or that the light of the world is under constant threat of darkness, as that will possibly upset the world's order and balance, leading to destabilization that can even have a domino effect on other worlds. And then we get to the basis of light itself, and that how those claim to serve the light and aim to destroy the darkness enact one of the most inhumane plans for the sake of the greater good. That's right, the Master of Masters. It is eventually and finally revealed that the Master of Masters' grand plan to bring about the end of all darkness is to draw out, reveal, and trap the 7 deadly darknesses within himself and his 6 apprentices, Lushu, and the foretellers Envy, Ased, Gula, Ira, and Ava, each representing one of the 7 deadly sins. By doing so, he gives these darknesses form, and with form they can be destroyed, but only by also destroying the host as it currently stands. What is even more harrowing is how they're able to achieve bringing out the 7 deadly darknesses out of hiding. It was the Keyblade War. The true reason why the Master of Masters planted the seeds of doubt within his followers, in which their movements brought about the Keyblade War of old, was all to expose the 7 deadly darknesses, as the war brought about the most potent emotions that acted as prime feeding ground for the true darknesses to reveal themselves. All this destruction, sacrifice, and pain was for this, because this is war according to the Master of Masters, and that this was all in the name of the light. With these key characters and key factors set to be present within Kingdom Hearts 4 and beyond, will a world like Quadratum, said to have no light and darkness, truly act as the ground to bring these notions to the forefront on what is truly good and what is truly evil, and that light and darkness can be found to belong to both? With the natural dispositions of light and darkness beckoning their supposedly specific virtues, we have to consider light sought to shun, wipe clean, and otherwise bless only those worthy of its embrace, while the darkness does not discriminate and welcomes all within its shadowy void. That light only acts on righteous emotion, while darkness is able to be called upon by the most passionate of a wide array of feelings. Both have their follies, but perhaps an exploration can be made when it comes to the possibility of coexistence, or rather, understanding, through that of specific characters. And honestly, I'm hoping for that understanding to come from Sora and Vanitas. But that is a theory for another time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and what do you believe when it comes to the folly of light and darkness when it comes to its application of good and evil? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK. Until the next video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.